Well, hello again, all of you high thinkers and folks that I hope are thinking in general. I'm Sid High, and welcome to another of my high thoughts. And here's Pepper with me today. And today we're going to talk a little more about, I guess, one last thing in Scientology that I think can be useful, but I need to, I guess, elaborate on that and um, try and take away the Scientology part of it and just talk about auditing and talk therapy and some things like that. So, again, today we're going to talk about auditing. If I didn't say that earlier, high thoughts, I digress. It's early in the morning. Pepper's got me distracted. So, in Scientology auditing, I equate it to what I think is talk therapy. So, basically, what you're going to do, there'll be one that's designated the auditor. The other one is called a pre-clear. And we're not going to get a huge amount into that because there's plenty of videos and I'm sure you can find out about it. And I want to keep this short, but it's called a pre-clear. And that means that you haven't gone clear yet, because what auditing is supposed to do is get rid of a thing called engrams. So an engram is something that has happened to you in this life. And again, Scientology, prior lives, that was a traumatic experience that either knocked you unconscious or reduced your consciousness and had an effect on you that is subliminal, you could say, and continues to bother you. So when you're doing auditing, the auditor sits and across from the PC and doesn't evaluate for them, listens to whatever they have to say. And what you're going to do is say, all right, I would like you to think of a time that you were upset, or whatever you could say, something that occurred in your life that you'd like to discuss. They wouldn't phrase it that way, but it's been a long time, and that's not the point. So they might say, well, yeah, I have allergies, and, when I was a kid, we had a dog, and I fell off the swing and hit my head, and they say I went unconscious, and they tell me the dog ran over and was licking my face, and then I came to, and but now these days I'm allergic to dogs. I can't be around dogs. It's awful. So they tell you all this. As an auditor, you listen to that and you say, thank you. You acknowledge them and you say, go to the beginning of the incident and go through it again and give me all the detail you can on it. And the theory here is that if you can get it out of your subconscious, what they call the reactive mind, into your analytical mind, then you nullify the effects of it. So in theory, I didn't see this to be the case a lot of the time, but I'll leave you guys to think about that. But sometimes it did seem to work, that if you could get this person to go through that incident enough times to where they realize what's going on and what's making them scared of and allergic to dogs, then it gets better. So that's basically it in a nutshell. And you keep auditing until you end on a positive, positive note. A cognition is the word that is used. It took me a while to think back on all that. Yeah, you want to have positive cognition with good indicators, all right? And so here's another funny example of that, and it kind of ties back to one of the other videos I was doing when Penny was up here, and you might have heard a dog bark in the background. Well, that was Pepper, and he was at the bottom of the stairs. Pepper is afraid of steps. He wasn't when he was a puppy, but one day he fell down the stairs and got hurt. He didn't have to go to the vet, but he limped and he was, just in pain for a while, but he got over it fairly quickly. It wasn't severe, but stairs just freak him out now. He can deal with it, but he tends to run up them and do all sorts of stupid things. In fact, he's more likely to hurt himself by trying to be careful or get past the stairs so quickly that it really is kind of strange how it has affected him. Now, if he were a human, if I could audit him, I would try and get that incident where he fell down the stairs to come out of his subconscious, if you will, to where he could say, oh, that's why I'm scared of the stairs. It's because that time I fell down them, right? And if I'm careful, I won't fall. I just need to uh, not be freaked out about it because that's making it more dangerous for me, right? So that's what it's supposed to do. Now, thinking on talk therapy again, and if you take away the Dianetic Scientology aspect of it, and you can, like with like Catholics, when you go and confess to the priest, it's supposed to be all confidential, all that kind of stuff. Well, there's all sorts of stuff about Scientology out there that where they can weaponize this and use it against you. You're not supposed to. Ethically, it's wrong, and all the rest of it. So that's what makes it a bit devious, or I would certainly be worried about it if you got something to hide, because you will probably bring it up, and especially if you get into Scientology auditing where you use the meter and we're getting all that. But the bottom line is, if you're in Scientology and you're doing auditing, they're going to find out a bunch of dirt on you. In fact, that's the whole point, is to get those things out of your system. But they also go in your folder, and they will always be there, and they always have access to them. Okay, scratching that for a second, on the positive aspect of it, or what I'm trying to look at in a positive light that might be helpful, is there seemed to be, when I was auditing people and doing this, a real need for people to be able to go and talk confidentially and safely about things that have happened to them without worry about it going to the police or their family or anything like that. I'm sure that's what, psychiatry and talk therapy, and there's got to be a lot of that in there. But that, I think, is very useful to a lot of people. I did see, at least positive results. But now if you, again, go down the Dianetics route, supposedly if you do this enough and you get to the point where it's clear and you don't have any reactive mind at all, you're supposed to be able to go exterior to your body, right? I mean, that's in the book. And I will tell you right now, I never met anybody in Scientology that could verify that they can do that. So I may have said this in another video, but again, a valid test to me would be, say, hey, I need you to go out there and pick a car in the parking lot across the street and tell me the license plate number on it. And then we'll go out there and see if that works. I mean, that's just somewhat of an example. But they're going to say, or they always said stuff like, oh no, we don't do parlor tricks, or that would freak you out, and then you would never be able to go clear because, I don't know, there's a million excuses, but that's what they are, is excuses. Like with most religions, if you can't verify it, you still just have to believe it and keep going on with your studies or your belief and listening to your priest or whatever in all those other situations. So in my observation, and I think anybody that takes a look at it would see that no, Dianetic auditing does not lead to all the things that they say it will do. They also say you won't get ill anymore. I mean, you can get, or, well, again, we're not going to get into all that. The bottom line is, to me, you could get some benefit out of something that is like auditing. We don't maybe even want to call it auditing anymore, talk therapy or something like that. But I thought I would just pretty much end off on my positive things of Scientology, or things that could be used that shouldn't necessarily be just associated with Scientology. Okay, they got incorporated in there, and they shouldn't. It shouldn't just be associated with that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell on auditing. I think in my next video, I'm going to talk about all of them combined and how I think they can be used usefully together, and then unfortunately talk about the devious side of it, the evil propaganda, or as Ron calls it in his Mission Earth series, black propaganda, kind of like Spy versus Spy, where you had the spy in all white and the spy in all black and whatever. sinister propaganda, however you want to look at it. It is truly, I think, one of the things that's causing all of the chaos in the world today is this kind of thing. And we'll get more into that and the whole propaganda aspect a little later on. If you want to keep tuning in, I hope you do. Again, I hope you got something out of the video, and if it can help in any way, that's the whole purpose of this, and maybe a little better understanding and tolerance for different ideas and things like that. So with that, I guess I will sign off again for today. I have to get ready for a gig, and I think I put Pepper to sleep again. So thanks again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, keep thinking those high thoughts. And until next time, have a groovy day.